Some love stories are whispered through time, others shake the foundations of empires. This is one such tale, the passionate, controversial and ultimately tragic love between Anne Boleyn and King Henry VIII. A story not just of desire, but of power, ambition and the price one pays for a crown. In the early 1520s, King Henry VIII was a powerful monarch, married for nearly 2 decades to Catherine of Aragon, a Spanish princess, his brother's widow, and a deeply religious queen. But their union had a problem. They had no surviving male heir. Only one daughter, Mary, had lived past infancy. It was during this time that Anne Boleyn arrived at court. Young, sharp and educated in the ways of European sophistication, Anne was unlike any woman Henry had met. She had served in the courts of the Netherlands and France, picking up languages, diplomacy and fashion. Interestingly, Anne's sister, Mary Boleyn, had already been Henry's mistress. But where Mary was compliant, Anne was cunning. When Henry began to pursue Anne, she refused to become his mistress. "No, Your Majesty," she is said to have declared, "I shall not be your mistress. If you want me, you must make me your queen." Henry became obsessed. His love letters to Anne, many of which still survive, show a man deeply infatuated. He began to court her publicly, and Anne's position at court grew, but there was one major obstacle. He was still married to Catherine. Divorce was not easy, especially for a Catholic king. Henry pleaded with Pope Clement VII for an annulment, arguing that his marriage to Catherine was invalid because she had been his brother's wife. The Pope hesitated. Political pressure from Catherine's nephew, Emperor Charles V of Spain, meant granting a divorce would upset the most powerful man in Europe. Frustrated, Henry made a drastic decision. He would break away from the Roman Catholic Church and declare himself the supreme head of the Church of England. This moment changed history forever, not just for Anne and Henry, but for the entire country. England was no longer Catholic. The Church of England was born, all because of love. Or was it ambition? In January 1533, Henry and Anne secretly married. By June, she was crowned Queen of England in a lavish ceremony. She was pregnant, and both she and Henry were certain it would be a boy. But fate had other plans. In September 1533, Anne gave birth to a daughter, Elizabeth. Yes, the future Queen Elizabeth I, one of England's greatest monarchs. But at the time, this was a deep disappointment. Anne suffered multiple miscarriages after that, including, it is believed, a male child. Henry began to grow distant. His roving eye turned toward another lady-in-waiting, Jane Seymour. In just 3 years, Anne went from beloved queen to political liability. Henry, desperate for a male heir and now enchanted by Jane, began to look for a way out. Thomas Cromwell, Henry's chief minister, orchestrated a brutal plan. Anne was arrested in May 1536 and charged with adultery, incest with her own brother George Boleyn, and plotting the king's death. Most historians now agree these charges were fabricated. Anne's real crime? She failed to give Henry a son, and she had too much political influence. Despite a lack of evidence, she was found guilty. On May 19, 1536, Anne was executed by a French swordsman at the Tower of London. Her final words were dignified, even forgiving. "I die a faithful servant to the king."
Breaking news.
Henry married Jane Seymour just 11 days after Anne's execution. Jane gave him his long-awaited male heir, Edward VI, but died soon after childbirth. Anne Boleyn's daughter, Elizabeth, would one day take the throne and become one of the most powerful and revered monarchs in English history. Some say Henry's love for Anne was genuine, but consumed by ego and desperation. Others say Anne was a brilliant strategist who played the game too well, until she lost. Whatever the truth, their love story rewrote the laws of God and man, and its echoes can still be felt today. A love that began with a letter ended with a sword. Yet from Anne's fall rose the golden age of Elizabeth. In love, as in history, nothing is ever simple. This was the story of Anne Boleyn and Henry VIII, a tale of love, power, and a crown paid for in blood. If you found this story as captivating as we did, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Legends of Love. We bring you true tales of passion, power and unforgettable romances from history. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a legend.